the cross. They score! They score!
Welcome to God's Playbook with your host, Father Rico Passero.
Lock is a 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown!
Let's play ball.
Welcome back to God's Playbook, friends, as we begin the second week of Advent. In the scriptures today, we are embraced by our friend, St. John the Baptist, who speaks about make straight the way of the Lord, make his path straight. It's so vital for us to understand, what does this mean? How can we make straight the path for God in our lives? Well, first and foremost, when it comes to our decision-making, are they God-centered decisions? Advent is calling us to really focus on our decision-making. Can I think like God thinks? So amidst a world that talks about division and not forgiving people, of holding grudges, keeping notes on everyone, can I be compassionate like God? In a world where it's cutthroat, end of the year, capitalism at its finest, can I be thinking about donating, giving of my time, talent, and treasure, especially those who are most in need? When we think about how we spend our time, think about you, self-care. Think you. Can we think like God, who talks about being selfless, sacrificing, offering for others, praying for others, doing for others? See, friends, making and preparing the way of the Lord, making the path straight, has to do with our decision-making. So John the Baptist shifted his life to be God-focused. Now, you could say, well, that's his primary goal in life, and that's what he was doing as a profession, as a preacher. So that doesn't necessarily mean you need to divorce your spouse, leave your kids, or leave your parents and, become a missionary. Although if God's calling you to do it, friends. As a former vocation director, very important, right? But let's be honest, each of us are called to do it in our own lives. Whether we are still in school, whether we're at work, whether I'm retired, whether I'm a priest, whether I'm married, whether I'm divorced, whether I'm single, I'm a widower or a widow. How do we make the path straight for God in our lives? Number 2, the way we speak. Are we a Debbie Downer? Sorry for the Debbies out there. Are we the negative Nancys? Nancy, I'm not talking about you, right? Are we negative or are we positive in how we think? Now, anyone who knows me knows I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm having a good day, you know. If I'm having a bad day, you know. But I don't want the bad day to turn into a couple of bad days or a bad week, right? We want to make it a bad moment or a bad day, but tomorrow's another day. So by our speech, do others look at us and see that we are joyful, that we are God-centered, that we recognize that whatever cross I deal with today, perhaps God can help me to look to a bright future. So again, making the path straight or preparing the way of the Lord also has to do with our language, how we talk, how we act. Then, of course, it also speaks of our prayer life, how important it is for us, friends, to be disciples of prayer. Advent calls us to make sure that we are spending time with God, our Emmanuel, our God with us. So preparing the way of the Lord is also preparing our soul, right? So between now and Christmas, if you have not gone to confession recently, that's the best gift you can give to Jesus. That's a way to prepare for the Lord's coming. Let's give him a real gift. He doesn't need a PS5. He doesn't need a trip to Honolulu. He doesn't need, an increase of sizing in the cottage or a renovation or a new car. He wants a renewed heart inside us. And we know this, but what are we doing to give him that? It's his birthday. He should get what he wants. So preparing the way of the Lord also has to do with spiritual preparations. A great opportunity through Advent to pray the Rosary daily if that's not already part of our spiritual lives. To set aside the time to make sure that I am a disciple of prayer. Also, perhaps, again, if work doesn't get in the way, an opportunity to go to Mass a second time during the week, not because it's obligatory, but because I want to. So how can I grow in my relationship with God? How can we grow in our relationship with God? So preparing the way of the Lord, friends, John the Baptist's words should resonate with us this week in our behaviors, in our actions, in our decision making, in the way we speak, and also the way we spend our time, especially in regards to prayer. So let's commit ourselves to prepare the way of the Lord and make his path straight. John the Baptist is calling us to an inner conversion. This is a response and a call from God. So may we respond accordingly as a result of this mightiest of the prophets, John the Baptist, that is calling us to this time of renewal. So friends, happy second week of Advent. Let's prepare the way together. Let's make this path straight and welcome our God anew in our lives. For God's Playbook, I'm Father Rico. God loves you, and so do I.
If you like what you hear, please consider supporting us using any of our affiliate links in the description below via Buzzsprout, Ko-Fi, or GoFundMe. Thanks, and God bless.